This is just Kimberly. Here, we honor the pivots of life as moments of learning and transformation. I'm Kimberly, and together we'll explore the practice of cultivating clarity, resilience, and grace with every step forward. This is your invitation to slow down, listen in, and find meaning in the unexpected. Welcome to the Just Kimberly Show. Together, we pivot with grace. And today, we share space with my dear friend, Amy. Amy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kim. It is such a pleasure to be here. I am honored and delighted. You are such an inspiration to me and so many people. And the fact that I could sit here at the table and talk with you today is a wonderful moment. So thank you.
And I feel the same about
Thanks.
you. We have run in some very similar circles. We both have caring hearts and do so much for our family as well as our community. And so
Absolutely.
It is truly an honor to have you at the table today. Thank you.
Mm.
So we'll just jump right in. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. You've been deeply involved in the community as well as philanthropy, but just more importantly, as a mom and growing your humans
Right.
and all that it is that you do in a day-to-day. And so that's part of what I'd like us to focus on today. So what first drew you to the work that you do?
Sure.
And let's then dive in a little bit to that motherhood piece. And so what keeps you passionate about all those buckets within your life today? And we can really start anywhere.
Gosh. Okay. Great questions. Great tee up. Let's see. What drew me to philanthropy?
Sure.
That goes way back to when I was a child, right? So my family lived philanthropy. So I grew up in a very small community in the really northwest corner of Nebraska. Not a lot of people know that nor where it's at, but we were about 45 minutes from the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. And so very different kind of need in that time in the 70s, very different. But my family was dedicated to serving. That was just what we did. We lived in that way. We helped out every week, multiple times a week, with whether it was bringing clothing over to the reservation or bringing somebody who was elderly who couldn't get to church on Sunday mornings. We'd bring them. It was a way of life. And so it's just what I grew up. So after college, I had an opportunity. So I stumbled into a position of a fundraiser for college, and it was natural. It was an opportunity, and probably looking back, I think it was probably a little safe for me to take that role because it was so comfortable for me. It was something that I just knew, a way to give back and to share. So, so I stumbled in, 30 some years ago,
Sure.
I guess. Oh my gosh. And it really just was a natural fit for me to be there. So, my mom had talked to me, a few things she really instilled in myself and my sisters growing up. Number one, if it isn't worth asking for, it's not worth having. And two, there are many people in the world that don't have that voice and can't ask. And so you need to be the voice for others because, again, kind of thirdly, what, too much is given, much is expected.
Yes.
And, not necessarily material wealth or things like that, but I grew up in a family that was rich in love and faith and community. And so to share that was expected. And so just those things I think have continued to drive me, and why just a natural fit for me to be in the world of giving and philanthropy and helping others out, lifting others up.
So
That's
beautiful.
What it's about. That's why we're here, I think.
So beautiful. And that's why I wanted to have you on the show today.
Oh.
Just that beauty. And Just Kimberly is so much about amplifying voices and voices that rise others up. And you are a pillar in our community and many communities that you do rise people up all the time.
Thank you.
Also with Just Kimberly, we're branded in that life is full of so many pivot points. So just hearing really just your launch and your beginning from childhood and pivoting and moving and finding different ways gracefully to help, whether it's amplifying other voices, to give that those that can't do themselves,
Right.
or to help them find their voice to do that. That's what all of this is about.
Mm-hmm.
How does that come alive in your own family structure? Because building a big career and doing all the things that you do for everybody else, in addition, you've wholly done that as a mom.
Right.
So what do those pivots look like, and how does that infuse in beautiful Amy?
Thank you. Oh, my family has been everything, and my children. I am a single mom of four amazing children from the ages of 21 down to 15. And I started off when they were all very small. I took a pause in my career. And that was a very pivotal moment for me, very intentional moment to step out, to say, okay, I have these four amazing children here, and want to spend some quality, really intentional time with them.
Amazing work. It's the hardest job on earth.
It was.
Yes. I applaud you.
Yeah,
Yes.
thanks. I was, sometimes I think I was, insane to take that time out. But what was so beautiful, which I didn't realize at the time, and now I realize it now, is that those connections and those bonds that my children have together are amazing. And
you fostered that.
I tried. I sprinkled in some schooling as I could when they were younger.
Sure.
But it was more about bringing them together and connecting them and having those solid bonds and building them to be responsible little people. So that was really pivotal when I stepped out. And then when I decided to step back in, that was also incredibly difficult. Incredibly difficult from my youngest was still very young. And so the guilt that went into that of, well, I didn't give him quite the experiences that his older siblings had, but then also just stepping back in as a female into the world, into the workforce, into the what that looked like. But what continued, I think, to drive me is that voice, as I was probably losing my voice a bit and wanted to make sure that I kept my voice. I found my voice again, and
beautiful.
That my children never would lose their voice, and especially my daughter. I have 3 boys and one beautiful daughter, and so important for me that she could see me also pivot back into this world, and now in a space where it's about community, and she sees that. And we live in McHenry County, and it is a beautiful county. It's a beautiful place with wonderful people and wonderful opportunities. And I'm proud to be there to lead, others, to make it of course, a better place, but really to have others find their voices, to make sure that they are all lifted. We can lift them up. So, so I guess that's
so
I'm trying to, where did I?
No, that's really great. And so many beautiful resources that we do have in McHenry County. So on the pivot of parenthood and pivot into career and changing within career, the theme of philanthropy, how does that color or shape you in parenthood with your children? And has any of that carried through with any of your kiddos as they're moving into young adulthood?
Yes, I would say that the theme of philanthropy is the love of humanity.
Yes.
So it's the love of people. And that love is something that has, I feel drives me. And I think drives all people. But in particular, it drives me. And I've subscribed to the feeling or the thought that when you bring together kind of your greatest talent and your desires, coupled with the need, and if the greatest need that's around you, you really find joy. and you find and you can become really the best version of who you are. And it's so important for me as a parent to show my children that that's what that is, that this is my desire. I've had many conversations with them about, why this path, or why did I choose this career? What about community? Why do you care so much? And it's, so these are great lessons and opportunities to say, well, because this is what we're here for. This is, this is what has brought me here. I feel like my talent of bringing people together, of leading, of convening, of connecting people, along with my love of wanting to serve everybody and serve others, has brought me great joy. And as my children have gotten older, they have commented to me about how joyful I am in my career, in my job, and that it's not really a job that they see, that it's not something I grudgingly go to.
Labor of love. I see that through and through. That's one of the reasons I was attracted to you and to do work with you and to learn from you and with you is definitely that labor of love. And you have a huge job. I mean, you are the executive director of the largest piece of our county, and your role is really bringing stakeholders from every corner together.
Right.
And the way that you do that is so poetic. It truly is. And understanding how to meet people where they're at, but being able to take that balcony view in a very graceful manner to assess needs and to look at how to plug in different resources or have people make connections.
100%.
And in such an educator you are at heart, whether you are or aren't. Even just defining philanthropy for individuals, because sometimes there could be a stigma with that or a misunderstanding, but how poetically, and I've watched you in multiple rooms now, how you're able to speak to that with such grace and to meet your audience where they're at. And so for a woman that stands before me as a friend and a compadre, that you have had lost your voice before, girl, you have found it. Like, your voice is there. And I just see that you will continue to rise above. I mean, you're impacting one county, but even what you're doing on the national circuit now. And you're a voice that people want to hear, and they want to connect with you, and they want you in those rooms and spaces. And how beautiful that is that you get to model that for your children as young adults too, and watch them become wholly their own. That's pretty special.
Right.
It's a pretty neat part of your journey. And I think my question at this juncture of our convo is what lights you up the most right now today? Like, as you're sitting, Amy, in this time of September 2025,
right? What
is lighting you up in your heart and soul right now?
Great question. It's the opportunities to lead, and the hope that's out there, and really that I can see the potential of just great joy, bringing people joy, whether it's those that we serve in McHenry County or those that are being philanthropic. There's this connection, and to lead and to bring together all of these pieces is what excites me. That is what lights me up. That's what I just love about my position and my role. It bringing all the pieces together and connect. It's that connecting. It's saying, we have this need. We have these opportunities here in our community, and here's how you can make a difference. Here's how you can really impact that. And did you know that this is the way? And did you know that we need, greater housing or greater healthcare in our community? And did you know that you have an opportunity to actually make an impact in our community? I think that sometimes, and I think that so many individuals can overlook. I think they look national scale. They look at
they really do
a much bigger scale. And even from a political standpoint, I think it matters your community. It's really local. If you want to get involved and make a difference, it's very local, and you can make an impact. You don't have to go to some grand nonprofit that's serving across the nation. You can help and support those that are right there serving your neighbor. One thing we know today more than anything is that there's no discrimination tragedy and poverty is all around us. It's in our next door neighbor. It's next to us in the grocery store.
Yes.
It is the woman, really, this is an example of the woman that you're standing next to at the grocery store that is, homeless, that is there and has a job, but she doesn't have a house because she can't afford it. And she looks just generally like you, and she's buying the same kind of things that you are for her kids. And that's, so there's no shortage of that need and connecting those individuals with individuals that can help too. So, and my kids are proud. And
yeah, that hits here, right, Mom?
oh my gosh, it
for
does.
sure. Yeah.
And for them to say that, and for them to maybe read an article that I wrote in the newspaper, or to see something that I've said, or to watch me speak, for them to sit back and say, wow.
Yeah. Amy's the real deal.
You're kind of cool,
beautiful,
Mom.
Beautiful inside and out, but my goodness, just such a brilliant brain in how you get people. We talk sometimes here about getting people to yes. And you are one of the most authentic humans I have ever met, but bringing people to the table, having the true conversation, understanding their head, their heart, what their train of thought is, to help them plug in to then what's meaningful for them, instead of it being told to them or bestowed upon them. You take so many hours to have those one-on-ones and to make it personalized for the individual, to help educate them as to what they need so that they can to give at the best level that they're able to. Because it does take a sense of community.
It does. You said authentic, right? And I think that has been my word for probably a decade, is authentic. And being your authentic self and having authentic conversations with individuals about what their desires are and how do they really want to make an impact. Yeah. We are generous. People are really actually quite generous. And especially women. I think that is we're designed, it's our nature to be generous. And we are designed to be self-giving. And many philanthropists this day are women, are females. They are leading their households in that conversation, and they make different decisions.
Absolutely.
And I think I'm able to have some very authentic, real conversations with households about what their desire is and what they give of their heart, and help them achieve their own goals. So,
how would you say that perhaps your approach has changed over the years as you've grown into yourself, and you're always your next best version of yourself as you've gone, in how you approach the work? How does that change over time for you? You're a really good listener. You're really attentive in all the spaces that I observe you.
Thanks.
But has your approach changed as you've learned more about the human condition and maybe grown yourself personally and professionally? Or would you say that has been a mainstay for you?
I think that's, kind of a tough question. I've been I think the older I've gotten, the more authentic. So back to that, authentic. And that has changed, probably, and has helped me be a better leader, to really be that authentic person. There's a humbleness that's always been constant.
Yeah, I would agree. That's a read that I have on you, so it's interesting to hear you say that, because I would observe that.
But, humbleness doesn't mean, it doesn't mean that you're humble. I guess I feel like humbleness means that you're able to say, I don't know, and have the courage to say, I'm going to figure that out, or let's work together to find an answer on that. So I think that has probably embracing that and really understanding what being humble is. And it's okay to not always know the answer.
Absolutely.
But when your heart and your desire but also embracing that you know more than, I think I've had to embrace that I know more than I think that I do.
You absolutely do. You do. And I think women will say imposter syndrome. You don't hear men say it as much, but I think that's innate to, our being. And so at different parts of life, you either choose to address it or not. I think it does impact or catapult growth if you can sit with it and sit with the stillness and kind of try to peel back those pieces of the onion, however that has grown in our lives personally and professionally. And it truly can serve as a catapult, I think.
I agree.
I think coming into this vintage or this age too, I think experience, that gives credence to pathways ahead. And as you pivot, life is hard. It doesn't get easier. We get better at managing it or leading within it, depending. And so we're able to then be more present and not so imposter-like to come together. So then helping others through their pivot points. So you could take it in philanthropy, thought process, or where do people want to put their money or their time or their talent? Listening, addressing those pivots, and then helping them, veer on whatever path. I originally came to one of your colleagues after I was in a year-long leadership class within the county. And I had made a very, a huge pivot in my career, and I was building out entrepreneurship. And I remember sitting down because I wanted to learn more, but to have conversation. And you had hired that person on, and it was wonderful because I've seen just the awesome partnership between the two of you. But I had coffee and just said, this is where I am with life. These are things I want to do. And at that point, just really planting the seed. Because when you come out of leadership positions, you're kind of this fresh diamond in the rough that if you've done a good job, which I had done a good job, and you have a good reputation, and I had a good reputation, it was where else can you give within that time? And I was confused because it's like you want to do so much. There's only so many hours in the day. But knowing the hub within your work and your partner's work and the foundation, I knew that I could go there and kind of plant that seed because in the hearts and the mind that you have and that she has, when the time was right, I would be called upon to say, here, give this a try. And that's exactly how it happened. And that's how we were brought to the table. And it has been a really neat pathway or part of the journey to do some amazing things, within the county. And so that is just a little bit of a segue or a story in the sense of, some of how we've been brought together. And I was able to be a receiver of that. And so for that, I thank you, Amy. And I thank your team and what it is that you do. But it is amazing work every day. And it continues to impact. And it's so much bigger than you or me or just the community on a larger scale. But it does start with what you said. It starts in the home. It starts in the community. It starts in how we show up and support each other. And when we find our voices, to use them, because stories are powerful. When we lose our voices, to give ourselves grace and to find others that could be around us to support us and lift us up in those times too. So that's the beauty in this. That's the beauty in, I think, what we have created and what I watch in what you produce and do. So
it's beautiful.
Philanthropy is such a big word, and you've made it local, and you've made philanthropy personal and deeply meaningful. Why is local giving so powerful in creating that lasting impact? So you've talked about community, you've talked about breaking down some barriers and helping others that can't help themselves. If I was to ask you to share with our audience today, just like one piece of advice on that, if you have somebody that's thinking about dipping their toe in, or maybe they're doing it and they're listening to this and they're like, I completely do this. What advice would you give them to follow their head and their heart, or to find resources, or to reach out in any county per se?
Exactly. I think no matter where you're at, there is that local. I think if you are really considering how you can make an impact and the local is where it is needed, and where you're going to find that satisfaction. I think it's important that everyone has their own, philanthropic journey, right?
Oh, sure.
And they all need to find what they're most passionate about. And I would encourage everyone to, and I talk about this all the time. Okay, so you can give to 10 different organizations, or you can support 10 different organizations, and that's fine. And I'm not discouraging that, but I encourage individuals to really look within their heart and what are they really passionate about? What lights them up? What drives them? And then match that with their time and their talent and their treasure. So, and again, it isn't that complicated. And
people sometimes think it is, though.
They
do. And that's what's the beauty about the education part, because you believe so much in the education part of it. People sometimes get scared about it. Oh, if I don't have millions of dollars to give, how could I give within philanthropy?
Right.
You kind of break it down. You're like,
yeah, it's really not that hard.
Yeah.
And I think people also get, they have their own concerns about, I've heard such horror stories about opportunities where they gave and it maybe didn't go where they thought that it did. And there's this thing called trust-based philanthropy too, where I do subscribe to that, though. I think you have to trust and you have to have those, which is why relationships are so important. Having good relationships with those organizations that you want to support, whether it's with your time or your talent or treasure, to have that connection with those. But at the foundation, it's a great place where people can learn, and it is a safe space, right? So
it truly is.
We can connect everyone and educate and talk about, well, here's what we see. Here are the needs that we have in our community. And here's really, again, what is going on next door to you that you don't know about. And if that's something you're passionate about, we can help individuals find their path to supporting whatever that looks like for them, making those connections. But I would simply, I guess, very in a basic way, follow your heart. It is, again, we give from the heart. And, there is you want to be smart, but it's about really following where your heart's telling you.
Different ways to invest, for sure. I mean, that's a part of even the communication that you've done. So you've led campaigns. We've talked about it. I've watched that.
Yeah.
You've worked with hundreds and hundreds of donors, and you've guided boards. All these things you're currently doing now, and you've done for years.
Yep.
What have you learned about building trust in each of those spheres? I guess let's leave it at that first. What have you learned about building trust? Because there's a political lens to everything, but there's also just the point of building capacity and building trust. So what have you learned about building trust so that you can inspire people to give?
Well, trust is fundamental. I would say that is the one thing that I've learned. And it is not always, you have to work at that. It is not just given. I think even more today, more than ever.
Right.
We don't live in a very trusting time. And I think that's one of the lessons I learned not too long ago, is that you have to earn trust, show trust, develop that trust, especially with your board. I think that I've learned a lot of lessons from wonderful board members about trust in that way. And that's at the basis of any donor relationship.
Yes.
And any major gift and any significant, or, even the smallest gift, even the woman who comes in or the man that comes in and wants to give you $10 a month. It is important to them.
Yes.
And they're not going to do that if they don't trust you. And all spins back to authentic.
Yes.
If you are not authentic,
it definitely does.
People see through that.
Yes.
And it's a great leadership lesson I learned too, is again, being really authentic and sitting at the table comfortably at the table, being authentic. If you're not, people see through that and they will not trust you. And so I think that just all goes hand in hand.
Okay. Building trust, authenticity. And that is Amy.
Yeah.
Through and through. For sure. For sure. So we talked a little bit about chapters in your life that feel most alive to you and alive to you right now. There's some pretty cool things happening within your life. So what would you say is one thing that makes you feel most alive right now? And then I have a closing kind of question and we'll get there. But this has been so fun.
Most alive right now. Is this professional or personal?
You can give both. We could, both.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, I think professionally, what makes me feel alive right now is the opportunities that we're sitting in right now. And there are a lot of opportunities to make a greater impact. And both on just there's organizations that are wanting to do more and there's people that are wanting to support those organizations. And it's so that is very much exciting right now and an exciting time in our community for that. I think personally, my kids just make me so alive.
It's fun to see you light up when you talk about them. Not that you don't light up with your work, because you really do, but just
thanks.
it's a different, yeah.
Well, when they're older,
yes,
and they're adults, and they're becoming adults, and one is choosing a military career, and to watch him, he has more courage than I have ever, and so. If I can ever say that I had some peace in that and getting him to where he's at,
yes,
it's so beautiful to watch your children grow like that and to see those lessons and to come back and tell you, right, well, do you remember X, Y, or Z? And that's why I kind of am where I'm at. So but that, and then my relationship. So I'm in a great relationship with somebody who lifts me up.
So good.
And I think as moms, as single moms sometimes, and as females, we give. We lift everybody else up.
So who's filling our bucket, right?
Right.
Who,
and
to share that space with.
Right. To be with someone now who is amazing and lifts me up is just, it's a blessing. And I am truly blessed. So
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
So as we close up shop here, when we think of the future of philanthropy, whether it be our county or other, what is your greatest hope? What is your greatest hope for philanthropy as we move into the future?
That everyone becomes a philanthropist and truly embraces that.
Phenomenal.
It's not just somebody else's job. Everyone needs to become that, to live it, to live that. We'll be a lot happier, a lot more peaceful. We can all live the meaning of that. There you go.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Kim.
Thanks for being with me today.
Oh my gosh, it was so fun.
It was great.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
It was wonderful.
It was
so great.
Just enjoyed talking to you. So
it's great.
Yeah.
That's a wrap. We'll see you next time on Just Kimberly.